Welcome back from the lunch break here at Grand Junction, Colorado, here in Grand Junction Motor Speedway. This is round 7 of an 8-round series for the Race Rotax US Trophy West Series presented by XScale Motorsports. We saw our first rounds of heat racing action earlier on before the lunch break. Now, this is heat number 2 for Junior Max. It's Gage Korn and Nick Eggleston on the front row. Antoine Lemieux, Xander Malatesta on the second row. Mason DeChesney, Kyle Drysdale, and Cadence Presley rounding out your field here in Junior Max, where we saw Gage Korn take home the heat victory in the first heats earlier on in the day. Eggleston in tow behind him. Let's see if he can flip that order as we get the green flag for wide in the turn number 1. Gage Korn maintains the lead ahead of Antoine Lemieux. Nick Eggleston into third, and how about it for Lemieux? Inside and through. Eggleston, a 2-for-1 combo. He's going to make that one stick. What a move up the inside. Buy one, get one free in turn number 3. Nick Eggleston up to the point. Gage Korn slots himself back up into P2. Lemieux now down to third. How about it? In fourth there, that's Mason DeChesney. Got ahead of Malatesta, who I believe is falling back to 6th place now, as it's Eggleston ahead of Gage Korn, ahead of Lemieux. That's the top 3 in the points as they stand, with Gage Korn being your points leader by only 10 points after that first heat result there. Lap 1 almost in the books here. Eggleston looking to flip the script in terms of who finished where in heat number 1. Now for the second heat, it's the opposite of what happened in heat number 1. Still 8.5 laps to go for Eggleston to try and continue his bid at a championship victory, which will be crowned tomorrow. Through turns 3 and 4, it's a 7-cart train down to turn number 4. Gage Korn late on the brakes, makes a stick, crossover move. Eggleston gets right back through. Nick Eggleston, a good crossover move there to maintain the victory. Now he has to go defensive on Gage Korn through the banana straightaway there. We're side by side for 4th further back. That's Cadence Presley. What a start to this race he has had, up into 4th position. The 219 machine had to start 7th. He's going to go up to 4th. That was a late lunge there. We saw Mason DeChesney try to go inside of Presley, couldn't make it stick. Presley maintains his 4th place spot ahead of Malatesta. Now, down the front straightaway to complete lap number 2. It's still Eggleston ahead of Gage Korn, ahead of Antoine Lemieux. These 3 have pulled away by a second over Cadence Presley.
Yeah, you've got Eggleston, Korn, and Lemieux. Look at Lemieux with a move up the inside, though, very quickly on Korn. Korn not having as good of a race 2 here as it was in race 1. And there we go. It is Korn and Lemieux still battling it out. I believe it is Lemieux still ahead of Korn here. And you can see as they go through the tic-tac-toe section, the curves, ride the curves very, very well here. And there it is, deep on the left-hander. Keep it moving. And as they go down the banana straight, that is a way to kick off the second round of heats here for the Junior Max drivers. They are very aggressive. I will say Eggleston definitely has learned a little bit from that first heat. Has taken the lunch, has reflected, kind of got the head back in the game, realized where the errors were, and made up from the restart very quickly. Korn and Lemieux here. There it is. The gap over half a second, 6.5 tenths as it sits from Eggleston as they cross the line there into lap 4. And now we keep it going. Yet again, it is Lemieux with Korn there in 3rd place. Can Korn find a pass? It doesn't look like Korn can find a pass as it goes. Lemieux there just holding on very, very well, placing that cart in all of the right places to defend. Now it's through the twisty bits, the tic-tac-toes. You see that Lemieux is very well sliding that cart around and using all of the grip, all of the knowledge and the know-how to try to keep it moving. Now we're down the banana straight yet again. Slipstream here, tuck in. Korn's going to be looking for a move up the inside. Korn is not looking for a move up the inside. Thought about it, but did not on that occasion. Is going to just slot in behind. Don't think that Korn was confident enough on the brakes there. Now the track conditions have changed quite a bit. It has opened up. The sun is shining. The rain is gone. It's nice and sunny. What a day to be karting here at Grand Junction as they go through. We're now on lap 5 of 10, halfway through this race here.
Gage Korn up the inside of Lemieux there. Last time around, they were about 2 tenths quicker than what Nick Eggleston did last time around. Lap 4 in the books. They are started lap 5 of a 10 lap heat race here. Two cars are faster than one, like we always like to say. And so for Gage Horn and Antoine Lemieux, if they continue to work together, they should be able to catch up to Nick Eggleston, at least based off of the lap times that we saw in the previous lap. This time around, Nick Eggleston looks to be doing enough to maintain that lead, maintain that advantage over Korn and Lemieux. Further back, Cadence Presley is on a charge right now, 1.2 back from the lead, but he's only 0.6 back from that third place spot. This has been a great run for the MPG driver there, who now has a little bit of a welcoming from Xander Malatesta in 5th, who's caught up to the rear bumper of the MPG driver. So now Presley, rather than having the focus on the drivers ahead of him, has to focus on the driver behind him and see if he can defend that 4th place finish. It'll be a great heat number 2 for Cadence Presley after a 6th place finish in heat number 1. That would be a pretty solid couple of heats to put him in a decent spot for the final later this afternoon. But for Presley, if they can work together, he and Malatesta, they could have a chance here at a top 3 finish. Back up front, we saw Korn on the bumper of Eggleston. Here's Malatesta on the bumper of Presley. Late on the brakes, a little too late there. Presley's going to try to go around the outside. What a move from Cadence Presley. He can make it stick, but he can't. Just ran out of grip there at the end. Malatesta's through. Look at this. Gage Korn all over the rear bumper of Nick Eggleston. That MPG go-kart is absolutely flying inside and through. The 233 machine is through on Eggleston, but with a crossover move, Nick Eggleston reclaims the top spot. 6 laps in, 7 laps now out of 10. 3.5 to go for the 224 machine to make this work. Look at this. There's Cadence Presley. After Malatesta got around him, Kyle Drysdale also got around him. So Presley now falls back to that 6th place spot. Now, for Nick Eggleston, the biggest thing for him is going to be your main rival, Gage Korn, in the points is behind you. You need to do whatever it takes to ensure that it stays that way, because there are points for heats, there are points for finals. 55 is the max that you can get. Every point counts if you want to better your chances at a championship victory. Through turns 3 and now into turn number 4. Defensive for Eggleston. Smart there. He saw Gage Korn go for the move last lap. Cuts it off this time around. The more the top 2 start the battle, though, Antoine Lemieux is in tow.
Yeah, and here's the thing is Antoine Lemieux is just going to be sitting back and say, you know what, you two keep battling, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to pick a place to get a 2-for-1 special here. And if you're Eggleston, you really want Korn and Lemieux to pick up the battle. If you're Korn, you want to battle Eggleston. So you've got 3 drivers that are very, very strong. And look at this bumper-to-bumper run down the banana straight into the hairpin. No pass from Korn at the moment. Eggleston there going around. And I mean, these drivers are just very, very competitive as it stands. They're all very fast. They're very similar in pace. I mean, nearly identical lap times on the last lap as it sits. We're lap 9 of 10 here as they go through, and we're going to continue to watch Eggleston, who just needs to keep it together. Oh, a little bit of a move there, and Eggleston forced to stay outside. Korn up the inside, and Korn, you see, kind of sits up. They're looking at each other, and it is going to be Korn who is now ahead of Eggleston. Eggleston has Lemieux for company, who comes out ahead between these drivers, and it looks like at the moment it is still Eggleston, Korn, Lemieux in this 3 battle, and they are going to continue through. Now it's the banana straight, lap 9 of 10 as it sits, and look at this. It is going to be Eggleston trying to chase down Korn, as Korn has found his way back up here, down to the hairpin, and the right-hander at the end of the banana straight, and it doesn't look like anyone can get past. So it is Korn, Eggleston, Lemieux, your top 3 now, and Korn needs to hold for just 1 more lap.
White flag in the air for Gage Korn, who's trying to fend off Eggleston. Lemieux in tow, looking inside, thought about a move, couldn't make it stick. Look at the run out of turn 1 that Nick Eggleston got. Now, up the hill towards turn number 3. Defensive for Gage Korn. Eggleston repays the favor. Gage Korn moved him off the racetrack last lap. Eggleston says, you know what, I can do that too. Uses the front nose cone to move him out the way. Lemieux now side by side with Gage Korn, and he's through. So for Eggleston, this is best case scenario. A win and your main rival in 3rd. That's going to be great points if Lemieux can fend off Gage Korn. With all this battling, Nick Eggleston has clear daylight in front and behind him. That'll most likely be a heat race victory for him. Here's Gage Korn, round the outside. Lemieux can't make it stick. Lemieux needs to fend him off for 2 more corners to hold on to P2. Eggleston round the final corner. He's going to win the heat race, but behind him, it's going to be a drag race for second between Lemieux and Korn. It's Lemieux. Gage Korn, P3. Malatesta almost stole it there from Gage Korn to finish in 4th. Kyle Drysdale 5th. Presley 6th. DeChesney in 7th. Now, unofficially, of course, with that, should put Eggleston on pole for the final with a 1st and a 2nd, with Gage Korn finishing 1st and 3rd. But again, that is unofficially the results so far. But Eggleston ahead of Lemieux, ahead of Gage Korn. Wow, what a way to kick off the 2nd round of heat racing action. This championship battle in Junior Max is going to go all the way down to the wire.
Yeah, Junior Max will not be decided until Sunday night, and it is going to continue to run. They are very, very much running through. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, it is going to be the micro and minis together yet again.
So you finally want to get behind the wheel, huh?
Yeah, I've been shooting for 3 years and I've never got to drive.
Well, you're going to need some more gear than just your helmet. Why don't you go to shopakr.com. They got their inventory online and they'll ship it the same day if you order before 5:30 p.m. Eastern.
They got shoes,
Yep.
gloves,
Yep.
rib protectors.
Got those too.
Can they make me go fast?
No.
Here at Acceleration Kart Racing, we've got everything you need to get on track. What happens next? Well, that's on you. Check us out online at shopakr.com.
Here at MPG Motorsports, our main goal is to provide the best pathway to professional motorsports for our entire team, drivers and mechanics alike. We're based out of Whiteland Raceway Park in Indiana. For more information, contact us at chase@mpg-motorsports.com.
Studies show that even the best current generation of simulators only convince 50% of the human brain that they are real. Here at Simcraft, that just isn't realistic enough. Developed to offer the most realistic karting sim experience in the world, all testing has shown that the physics engine used in Simcraft's Grid 1 model convinces 90% of the human brain that you are actually on track. Now that is the real deal.
Welcome back to Grand Junction Motor Speedway here in Grand Junction, Colorado. This is round 7 of Race Road Tax's U.S. Trophy West Series presented by XGL Motorsports. On the racetrack right now is the second round of heat races for the Micro and Mini Max drivers. In Mini, it's Jackson Porter, Isaac Payne, and Gage Grant. That's your top 3. And then obviously a staggered class. They're separated by about a straightaway is the Mini Max drivers, headed by Lucas Tarango, Paxton Romero, Tyson Underwood, Connor Lipka. That's your top 4. The biggest story, though, Cam Becker, tail end of the field. He was your fast qualifier at Micromax, but after tech and after penalties, it put him at the back of the grid. He charged his way up to a top 3 finish in heat number 1. Let's see if he can do it again here in heat number 2.
Yeah, as they come around here, going through in formation, they're ready to go here. And I am going to go ahead and tell you right now that these three are going to have a very, very close competitive race all the way through in the back here. It's going to be interesting to see how these three get along as we go through down to the line. And drum roll as we wait on the green flag to go. And as soon as we see that green flag, they're going to take off very, very quickly. Games not being played as much as we saw in Heat 1, but they are away there, and it is going to be Ian Payne up the inside of Porter there, and now they are away and going, and you've got the other class start that's coming up here. Two classes on track at once. It's like I'm watching WEC all over again.
Yeah, now for the Micromax class, Lucas Tarango takes the green, maintains the lead ahead of Paxton Romero, ahead of Tyson Underwood. Connor Lipka there gets around Braxton Mayers up into fourth place. Cam Becker already up a handful of spots. He's up 5 spots already. Cam Becker inside the top 6 in the opening 3 corners. That's not good news for the leaders out front, because Cam Becker has about 7 laps to make some magic happen here after not the ending of qualifying that he would have liked. Obviously, the qualifying session went great for Cam Becker, but had to start last here for both heat races. Hasn't affected him one bit. A top 3 in heat number 1. If he can do that again in heat number 2, it'll play dividends for him later on in the afternoon when the final goes around. There's Cam Becker to the inside and through on Braxton Mayers. Cam Becker is inside the top 5 already. He is up 7 positions in the opening lap here for the MPG driver. Tarango still leads. Paxton Romero, that is the 2 teammates of Underwood and Lipka. Cam Becker right behind. The gap between Tarango and Becker is 1.7 seconds. If you remember correctly, it was all the way to 3.5 as one driver went off. I believe that might have been Sebastian Johnson. It is Sebastian Johnson around there, I believe, with maybe Braxton Mayers as well. That was an interesting incident there. The exit of turn number 3. Let's hope that both drivers are okay in that one. Still, your leader is Tarango. That was Connor Lipka there, getting around his teammates of Tyson Underwood. So now Lipka leads. Look at this. Cam Becker, he might go for a 2-for-1 here if they're not careful. The side's better of it, but Cam Becker is on the prowl here up inside the top 5.
Yeah, Cam Becker, remember his Heat 1 race 2 wasn't as linear as you might think. It was very up, down, all the way around. As we check back in here with the Mini-Maxes as they go through, this is going to be your leader of Porter and Payne that are running through the tic-tac-toe section. They come around the left-hander. They're now going down through Banana, and I see a yellow flag waving through, so it looks like they are waving yellow advisory flags at the moment. Let's see if we can figure out exactly what that's for as we run through, but it is yellow flags. It looks like across the track as far as I can tell.
Yeah, it looks as though it's a full course yellow out on the racetrack, so no passing is what that means for a lot of these drivers. As long as you see a yellow, means you can't pass, but I think the yellows might be put away now. Yes, they are. So for Jackson Porter, for Isaac Payne, the racing is back underway. And for Isaac Payne now, he was incredibly quick in qualifying, really fast in the first heat race, got the win there, passing Jackson Porter on the final lap. He's going to hope to do the same thing here for heat number 2. But as it stands, Jackson Porter, he has won most of the races he has entered in the race for Taxi US Series this year, looking to do more of the same in this one. There's Paxton Romero leading a group of 4 go-karts. How about it for Lucas Tarango? With all this battling, his lead has extended to 1.6 seconds over the driver in second there of Paxton Romero. Lipka ahead of Underwood, ahead of Cam Becker, who's trying to find a way around the 3 in front of him here. Now through the S section of the racetrack and onto the back straightaway, or the banana straight like we like to call it. Let's see if anybody has enough of a run to make a move up the inside. Looks like Lipka is going to think about it, but Romero with a late fade is going to defend that spot for P number 2. Lap 5 of 8 in the books, about to be lap 6 of 8 in the books. 2.5 laps to go for Romero to hold on to second place ahead of Lipka and Underwood. Underwood all over the rear bumper of his teammate Becker thought about a lunge up the inside but couldn't make it work. The MPG driver, his progress has halted since the opening lap here. Lipka inside, through on Romero. Now they're side by side on the exit here. That's going to slow both of them down. Let's see where Underwood decides to go. He maintains his 4th position. Becker looking for a crossover move. Can't make it happen. Connor Lipka now up to P2.
Yeah, Cam Becker is getting very, very impatient here, trying to get past Lipka, Primero, and Underwood. And you can see trying different lines, trying different strategies, anything that Cam Becker could think of to get past. Absolutely trying it. You see here, those 3 are in a line, and Cam Becker is just kind of like, okay, you all keep racing, go side by side. I'm going to hold my own line here. We keep things moving as we come out of the right-hander, out of the banana straight, and they come on the main straight here. This is going to be the start of their lap 6 of 8. Keep in mind, we have the 3 ahead that are running in their own class. There's 2 classes on track at once, slightly different pace here. And there we go with a dive up the inside. And that is going to be Romero and Lipka swapping places again. Now we're going to get the mix here between Lipka and Underwood trying to go for a move. And it's actually going to be Becker who finally is going to find a way forward. Finds one place here. Now we've got the battle between the 44 and the 55. They go through. You see the places swap there. It is the 44 behind the 55 now. Romero behind Lipka as they come into the tic-tac-toe twisty bit section. The S's, whatever you want to call it, through. And now we go around onto the banana straight yet again. We need to find a good solid name for that section of the track.
Yeah, for sure. Well, nonetheless here, the racing is kicking off. Lap 7 of 8 in the books for Mini and Micro Max. Next time that these drivers see the flag, it will be the checkered flag here. So, white flag in the air for Micro Max. Mini Max has already seen the white flag. Here comes Connor Lipka to the inside. Here comes Becker to the inside. Can he get the 3rd? He can. Through turns 1 and 2 now. 1.5 laps to go for Cam Becker. Inside and through. Cam Becker, 2 spots in 3 corners for the number 16 driver. He's up to 2nd place from last on the grid. What a drive it's been for the MPG driver and for Lucas Tarango out front. While he has a 1st and a 1st so far in both heat races, hopefully he's able to actually walk away with this victory. But Becker way wide there. I thought for a moment Lipka was going to sneak by and make a move stick. But nonetheless, Tarango with 2 firsts in the heats. It's going to put Becker about 2nd or 3rd in his heats as well. So that'll be a very interesting dynamic to look at when that final rolls around. Nonetheless, how about it for this driver, the 122 High V Red Machine, Jackson Porter. He has been dominant all season long. The dominance continues. The gap is 1 second back to Isaac Payne in the 177. And then Gage Grant, a really good performance for him. 1.9 back from Jackson Porter. But the pace is there potentially if he can make something happen in the final. Nonetheless, 3 more corners to navigate for Jackson Porter. He finished 2nd in the first heats. 1st here in the 2nd heat. Jackson Porter wins heat number 2 in Mini Max. Isaac Payne in 2nd. Gage Grant in 3rd. Now, in Micro Max, the gloves are still off for these young drivers. It's Tarango ahead of Becker, and then it's Romero. And how about it for the teammates? Underwood inside of Lipka there. They're side by side down the banana straight. The 2 teammates are going to battle out to decide who finishes 4th and who finishes 5th in Micro Max. It's Underwood now ahead of Lipka after that side-by-side duel down the straightaway. But how about it for the number 7 orange and black go-kart? Tarango sweeps the heats, and he wins here in heat number 2. Then it's going to be Cam Becker, Paxton Romero. Underwood wins the drag race ahead of Connor Lipka. Wow, so much racing action all throughout both classes. That was tough there, but hard fought. Wins in both Micro and Mini Max. Jackson Porter wins by 1.3 seconds out of Isaac Payne, so they swap victories in their heat races. Tarango sweeps the heats in Heat 1 and Heat 2. He'll start on pole for the Micro Max final. Cam Becker P2, Romero 3rd, Underwood 4th, Lipka in 5th place in Micro Max. After that, we're going to get ready for some Masters Max heat racing. We'll be right back.
commercial break.
Are you looking for an advantage in your competition? Well, Kart Class has done the hard work for you. We've travelled to your racetracks to give you the inside knowledge. So what does Kart Class offer? We've got drone footage that captures the racing lines, visual markers for your braking points, acceleration zones, and the best overtake opportunities on your racetrack. Pedal cam to show you where to brake and when to accelerate, and 360-degree footage to make sure you don't miss any parts on the racetrack. We've covered 13 racetracks in the United States, and Australia, you're up next. So visit kartclass.com to get your track information.
Can you hear it? 1 week where the silence is broken. "394 drivers, 60 nations, united in their goal to be the best, the very best."
This is the most equal race in the whole world. I will win. There's no opportunity.
No one has ever won junior, senior and DD2 before, and that's what we are aiming for this week.
1 week where every second counts. Every corner, every pass. The competition does not get tougher than this, closer than this, more intense than this. Seven days full of pride, passion, your nation, your roots, our family.
Welcome back to Grand Junction Motor Speedway here for round 7 of Race Road Tax's U.S. Trophy West Series presented by XGale Motorsports. We just saw another great heat race there between the Micro and Mini Max drivers. Now it's time for the Masters Max drivers for heat number 2. It's Clayton Kessler on pole position ahead of Christopher Mann. That's your front row. Billy Cleveland, Rene Bine in 3rd and 4th, and that's Haltala there, rounding out your top 5 as they round the final couple of corners and get ready to see the green flag. We saw a great battle between the top 3 in the first heat race. Look for more in the second one. The top 3 separated by about a blanket, I'd say, with how close that race was all throughout here as the green flag waves. Great start there for Clayton Kessler, much better than what he had in the first heats. Billy Cleveland pushes his way through into second. Christopher Mann in third. Paul Tulla has made his way up into fourth ahead of Rene Bine. But a great start for the comp car driver, the 608 machine of Clayton Kessler, who leads ahead of Billy Cleveland.
Yeah, and a great run there from Kessler to Cleveland to Mann, and I think Cleveland learning from Heat 1 and just knowing I need to get a move on quickly, I need to get up there, and I need to get going. We'll see here where Cleveland gets with Mann as they run down the Banana Straight for the first time of 10 times here in this heat, and there's a hard dive up the inside. I don't think that was intentional in any way, shape, or form from Cleveland. Now down into third place. That was almost a moment there, but you saw him, he caught the car. It almost looked like for a second it was just forgot to hit the brakes, period.
Yeah, Billy Cleveland there locking up the rear axle, couldn't get it unlocked, and good car control there from Billy to keep that go-kart facing the right direction. Unfortunately for him, it cost him a spot and some, so he has some ground to make up, but only 1.2 back from the lead. So with 9 laps still to go in this one, anything is possible. But for Clayton Kessler, that's going to open the doors for him in terms of clear air in front and behind him. Christopher Mann has 6/10 ahead of Cleveland, 6/10 in front of him as well. So decently spaced out field as it stands, but we're only 2 laps into a 10-lap heat race here. Christopher Mann looks to be quicker this time around. Rounding the final corner now. Let's see what the gap is as Kessler all over up on the wheel, trying to get every bit of power out of that comp kart machine. The gap 4/10 now between first and second place. Here comes Christopher Mann. How about it for Billy Cleveland too? The gap is 1.2. Now it's 9/10. So the 2 drivers behind your leader are actually the 2 fastest drivers on the racetrack. So if those lap times are anything to go off of, we might have a battle on our hands here in the closing stages of this heat race. Clayton Kessler, though, still holds on to the lead, but look at that. Christopher Mann through the S's there, makes it work, and he's looking quick early doors in this one. It could be a tire pressure thing. Nonetheless, it looks as though Christopher Mann is about to get to the bumper of Clayton Kessler, who, as it stands, looks to be struggling slightly for grip. But let's see as they cross the stripe, or get ready to cross the stripe this time around. Rounding the final corner, it was 4/10. It seems to be closer this time around. It's 3/10 now. This will put Christopher Mann within drafting range of the leader. Billy Cleveland is within 4/10 of Christopher Mann. So we're going to have a 3-kart battle on our hands here, 4 laps into a 10-lap heat race. It's all still to play for in Masters Max.
Absolutely, and the big thing that I'm looking at right now is through the S's section, Kessler does not look near as strong as Mann or Cleveland. I think that's really where he's losing time. Look at the line. He's not nailing that section, and that's really where he's losing that gap. His 4/10 gap is now down to probably just a couple of tenths. As it sits, we'll see where it stands when he crosses the line, because he's doing really well through the final couple of corners, but he's just not, that S's section is not working for him at all as we run around here. And you can see now that I think he, again, is opening up a little bit through there on the wheel. We'll see where the gap registers. 2.5 tenths between Mann and Kessler, and I think Mann is just being a little bit patient here, understands this is a 10-lap heat. We're only halfway through now on lap 5. It's just follow through, stay consistent, hold your draft, and see if you can't find a way through. A quick check over the shoulder from Kessler. Kessler's saying, okay, where is Mann at? Where is Cleveland at? Cleveland's just floating back in the back. He's half a second back from these two and just kind of saying, okay, you two run your race. If you start battling, I'll be there to pick up the scraps and get my way forward as I can. Now we're through the left-hand hairpin, down the Banana Straight once again. You see leaning forward Kessler. Kessler is trying to get all of the momentum out of this kart that is possible to get. I mean, they're putting in 55-second lap times. Absolutely flying around they are. But Mann still right there on the back and losing a bit of time at the end of the Banana Straight. It is the first half of the lap is more to Mann, and the second half of the lap is more to Kessler. As they cross the line, the gap now 2 tenths. So still gaining little by little. You see Mann leaning in, and as we're on lap 6 of 10, I still think Mann has a chance to get this pass done for the lead. It's just a matter of where.
Yeah, now the problem that the 2 leaders have, and why I presume we haven't seen them start battling it out as a bit of a mistake there for Kessler, brings Christopher Mann all over the bumper now of the comp kart machine. But what I was going to say is the two leaders, if they begin to battle, here comes Billy Cleveland. The gap is only 6/10 from the leader to third place. And Cleveland, remember, he had that big moment earlier on in the race as inside potentially for Mann, but Kessler braking late enough to defend that charge from Christopher Mann. Now, with that though, here comes Billy Cleveland, almost onto the bumper now of Christopher Mann. So, with about 3.5 laps to go, the top three separated by 0.5 of a second, 1/10, 1.5 between your top two. Christopher Mann, at this point in the race, still seems to have the advantage pace-wise over your leader, but I think Billy Cleveland might have the pace advantage over the both of them. So, it'll be very interesting to see what ends up happening. Kessler once again goes wide in turn number 4. It gives him a decent exit off the corner into the S section of the racetrack. So I think Kessler has figured out slightly where he needs to find time, and it's working out because now, like you mentioned, Brad, earlier on in the race, it looked as though Kessler was struggling in the S part of the racetrack. He's figured it out, and it's actually become a strong point for him. And Mann not able to get a run onto Banana Straight to get a good opportunity to make a move. So Kessler, while I think Mann has more corners that he's stronger, Kessler is strong on the important corners, the one that lead onto the straightaways, doing just enough to maintain that gap over second. But a little wide in turn number 1, Mann says, thank you very much. I'll take P1 back from you. 8 laps into a 10-lap heat race. Christopher Mann is your new leader in Masters Max, but late on the brakes, a little too wide, and Clayton Kessler reclaims the top spot. Billy Cleveland is sitting back and enjoying this one and saying, all right, you two keep going at it. I'm going to go for a crossover any minute now here onto Banana Straightaway. Kessler up on the wheel, trying to reduce the drag as much as possible on that comp kart machine. Is he going to defend? I don't think he really has to, but whoa, Christopher Mann on the curbing there, unsettled the go-kart under braking. Not what you want to do if you're Christopher Mann, but nonetheless, made it work. You can't put a blanket over these 3 drivers here. 8 laps complete, 2 to go in Masters Max.
Funnily enough, the fastest driver of these 3 as we hit lap 9 and 10, the last lap was Billy Cleveland. He was the fastest driver as these 2 battles. It's just going to open up the door for Billy Cleveland to try to have a look somewhere and go through, but it is still single file as they run down into the right-hander here. Now they're going to start up the hill through the S's section. And again, this is where we've seen Kessler be weaker to Mann, but now when it counts, getting it together and getting through. Now it's the hard left-hander into the Banana Straight. And Tuck, again, you've got to slipstream, you've got to move. And here it is for Mann. Mann's going to want to have a look. Cleveland wants to have a look. Who? At the braking zone, up the inside goes Mann. And Kessler with the switchback potentially around the outside. Cleveland sneaks through as well. Kessler, in the matter of 1 corner, goes from 1st to 3rd. And as we come across to take the white flag, it is going to be Mann and Cleveland ahead of Kessler. 2 places in 1 corner. That is going to be heartbreak for Kessler as we go through final lap. And now Cleveland needs to try to have a look on Mann and see if there is any opportunity, but a fight back coming from Kessler who tries to go through, and Cleveland says, no, thank you. I will hold on to the 2nd place here. And now we go through just half a lap left to go here. And as they go through the S section, this is where Mann's been stronger than Cleveland and Kessler, and we'll see if he can hold on to it. He's got to keep it together here, and look at this, Cleveland still right on the back, and as it's down the Banana Straight, just a 1/4 of a lap left to go here.
1/4 of a lap to go, and Cleveland says, thank you very much. I'll reclaim the top spot there after a mistake in the opening lap that set him 1.2 back from the lead. It's taken him all 10 laps to reclaim the top spot. Billy Cleveland has a straightaway to go to take heat victory number 2 here. Billy Cleveland wins the 2nd heat of the day in Masters Max ahead of Christopher Mann. Clayton Kessler, after leading 8.5 laps, rounds out 3rd place there. Rene Bine in 4th. Michael Haltala is your 5th place driver in Masters Max. But wow, Billy Cleveland led about 3 corners, but it's the 3 important ones. He wins heat number 2. Christopher Mann to put up a great fight there, but just not enough. And Clayton Kessler, kind of a sitting duck when you're the leader at a racetrack like this where there's so many passing opportunities. That's why this track is so unbelievably great to drive at, besides the scenery in the the background as well. But with how many passing opportunities that we have around this place, it just opens the door for the likes of Billy Cleveland to make it happen. There's a good look at the mountains in the background. But before we get ready for some Senior Max heat racing action, let's hear a word from our sponsors.
Why do you come here? Is this your career?
Or is it all about fun? A chance to get away and leave it all behind?
Or do you chase your personal best? Challenging yourself over and over again. Why do you come here?
Maybe you're here to collect moments. Good ones. And not so good ones.
Or you can't afford mistakes because you want that victory. It's all about this one moment when the hard work finally pays off.
This is the place that brings us closer to the people who share our story. Whoever we are.
Whatever we're here for. Racing is who we are.
We're at a commercial break.
Kyle, I need a new 219 chain. I need a 77 tooth sprocket. I need some more chain lube, and I need it probably as soon as like tomorrow. Dude, are you even listening? Like, we need this to run this weekend.
Want anything else?
What do you mean?
I already got it in the Kart on Acceleration Kart Racing's online store, bro. All orders over $200 get free shipping.
Oh, throw in a set of tires.
Done.
Everything you need, all in one place and shipped to your door for free on orders of $200 or more. Exclusions apply. Shop AKR.com.
Welcome back to Grand Junction Motor Speedway here in Grand Junction, Colorado. We just saw some great heat racing action for the Masters Max class, but now it's time for Senior Max Heat number 2, and it's Giovanni Santora on pole position ahead of Theo Ciccotti. Then it's the points leader, Cooper Auclair, ahead of Micah Kendricks in 4th. Adam Rylance, first time back in a kart racing since Supernats last year. Griffin Dowler, 6th place, one of your championship contenders. Dylan Archer in 7th. Frederic Lemieux, she sits 2nd in points as it stands heading into this weekend. Then it's Joel Lewis and Bell there rounding out your top 10 in Senior Max. But for Cooper Auclair, he leads the points heading into this weekend, and with his main rivals finishing outside the top 5 in the first heats. It looks good for him so far, but still have a heat and a final today, and then 2 heats and a final tomorrow to go and earn some points. It's all still to play for these Senior Max drivers, but this race and heat number 1, the combined average sets the grid for the final later today. Good start for Santora, good start for Eau Claire, trying to slot into second place, can't make it work, but wow, Micah Hendricks there, round the outside. He takes third. Eau Claire says, I'll take it right back. Cooper Eau Claire back to where he started in P3. Hendricks down to 4th. Good start for the 2 teammates of Santora and Kakati. Then it's Eau Claire, Hendricks, Adam Rylance up into the 5th place spot. Griffin Dowler, where he started in 6th. Any moves here? Not going to happen, but onto the back straightaway now. This is where we can expect to see a lot of moves being made. The longest straightaway on the racetrack into one of the best passing opportunities on the racetrack. No moves inside the top 5, 6, 7. Really no moves inside the top 10. Every driver just trying to slot in line, figure out where they're fast and where they're not fast. There's the 305 machine. That is Spencer Smith. His rough day continues. A poor heat number 1, a bad heat number 2 for Spencer Smith. Unfortunately, that's going to put him near the tail end of the field for the final. Eau Claire inside and through on Kakati. Cooper Eau Claire. This is a much better start to his race than he had in heat number 1. Looking quick so far. If you remember in heat number 1, he had a slow start to the heat race, but with a late charge, almost stole race victory from Theo Kakati. Looks to be a much smoother start to his race this time around. 2 laps in to a 10-lap heat race, and Eau Claire looks to be on the bumper of his teammate. Might make a move to the inside, decides better of it. Come Kart 1, 2, 3. Then it's Hendricks, then it's Griffin Dowler, then it's Rylance. He sits in 6th as it stands.
Yeah, and as the drivers come across the line to start lap 3, look at how the run up here for the lead. This is going to be Santora and Eau Claire. Eau Claire going through as we continue up the start of this lap. Man, the Comp Kart 1, 2, 3, it does not matter that these are teammates. They do not care. They are racing because they understand that where they're at for the heat is going to make all the difference. Eau Claire now ahead of Santora as it sits, in Kakati there in 3rd place, settling in just behind. They ramp off the curves through the S's. Who is this up the inside? That is going to be the 306 of Dowler making a move up and continuing to move forward. Now into 4th place ahead of Hendricks. And you can see as they run down the banana straight, they've got to think about a move. And we have driver off there. That is the 397 that is off. That's Lemieux,
Frederick Lemieux.
who is now... Man,
yeah, Frederick
that is
Lemieux.
not what you want.
One of your championship contenders. 2nd place in points heading into this weekend. She had a rough heat number 1, finishing in 12th as, Dylan Archer on the inside, muscling his way through on Adam Rylance. But for Lemieux, a 12th place finish in the first heats, that is essentially going to be a DNF, or at least a last place finish here in the 2nd heat race. So for her championship chances, this is looking to be a dropped day for her. So I guess the one benefit for her is that her drop heading into this weekend was a pretty good points haul. So now this is going to most likely end up being her dropped weekend. So the pressure is still not completely on, but for the likes of Eau Claire, it takes the pressure off of him. Now, we just saw a mistake there from Giovanni Santora in the final couple of corners. He went way wide, and now Dowler's up to P3, Hendricks to P4, Santora now into 5th, struggling for grip on board that Comp Kart machine. Your pole sitter down to 5th. Out front, it's still Eau Claire ahead of Kakati, who's refound life on board that green and white Comp Kart machine. On the bumper now of Cooper Eau Claire. That battle will continue to rage on. For Griffin Dowler, he's still in with a shout here at a championship victory. He has an outside chance at it, obviously, but his one goal in this one is going to be to beat his rival, Cooper Eau Claire.
Yeah, that needs to be the big goal here for them today. And of course, it's warmer, it's sunnier than it's been all day. We started out with sprinkles in the morning during the warm-ups, during the qualifying. It's 67 degrees as it sits at the moment in Grand Junction. So it could be a case of just tire pressures being off for some of these guys. They might have been prepared for a slightly cooler track than what it actually is here. As we watch Dowler there in P3 trying to defend off Hendricks and Santora as much as possible, but also trying to make the move forward. So you've got to watch as they continue to battle it out here. They are very, very closely matched in pace all the way through. If you look at the timing tables, they're close on pace, and it's just a matter of if there's an error, it can cost you big time, and that can be the big moment there. As we see Hendricks, who had a good little slide coming through the S's, but was able to hold on there. Santora still trying to look for a move, has the pace down the banana straight, but does not decide for a dive up the inside. Now we settle back in here. We come around the final couple of corners. Don't run it too wide there. Keep it all together on the track, on the curb, and now we run through. This is going to start lap 7 of 10 here, and it's Cooper Auclair out ahead by 7.5 tenths.
Auclair extending his advantage over Theo Kakati, who in the first race, he won. Auclair second. In this one, it's a flipped order. So that's going to come down to most likely lap time into who's going to start first and second in the final. But that's for us to find out later on. The battle for third continues to rage on between Dowler, Hendricks, and Santora. Santora seems to be quicker than Hendricks as it stands, but not quick enough in the corners that matter. This is a good run, though, for Santora. Down the back straightaway, inside and through, but he outbrakes himself. Hendricks, a great crossover move there. He maintains that fourth position. That brake zone after Banana Straight is very difficult. It goes slightly downhill, and if you're not careful with a little bit too much wheel into it, all of a sudden you'll lose the rear. We've seen many drivers do that today. Gio Santora, not the first one to have that happen to him, and most likely not the last one to have that happen to him. It's one of the many challenges that this racetrack throws at the drivers. That's what makes it so great. Auclair leads by a second over Kakati. Dowler has a nice buffer between himself and Hendricks, but Hendricks has to fend off the likes of Gio Santora. Goes way wide there through the S section of the racetrack. Here's a good look at Adam Rylance, who has a decent advantage over Dylan Archer there in 6th and 7th. Bell has a nice battle between himself, Callis, Lewis, and Billy there. That's the battle for 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. So many battles to look out throughout this racetrack. Lap 8 complete. We're on lap number 9 now as it stands. Kakati made a slight mistake in that previous lap because Griffin Dowler is now closing into the bumper of that comp kart machine. A second place is still not out of the cards for the 306 machine with a lap and a half to go.
Yeah, we go through a lap and a half here. Dowler trying to find a look there. You've got to find the moment to place your kart there in the right setting. And you see they both get very, very on the curb and ramp it there. They're trying to eke out time. They're following each other. You've got to be very careful there as Kakati is now going down the banana straight. And again, downhill braking zone here coming up. Be very, very ginger on the brakes of the kart and be aware of where you're at on the track in terms of the kart ahead. And there we go. It is Kakati with Dowler as they come through the final corner now. They are going to be going down the main straight. You see the look over the shoulder from Kakati, and he goes, oh, Dowler's right there. I need to get a move on. And now Dowler is going to be looking. It's final lap. It's white flag out. We'll see how it goes. Cooper Auclair with a 1.7 second gap here. But for Kakati and Dowler, it is a matter of put a sheet of paper between them. You can see looking over the shoulder yet again there from the 333 machine of Kakati. He knows that he needs to hold off Dowler for just another 3/4 of a lap here as they head through the S's. Mind the curbs there. Don't ramp it too hard. And there we go, looking over the shoulder again. And there's a move from Santora in the background on Hendricks going into the left on the banana straight. And there he goes. He's through and he is gone. And what happened to Dowler? Dowler is not in the picture now.
Yeah, that's Cooper Auclair there. We're watching him round the final corner here now to take victory in heat number 2. Behind him, though, Dowler and Kakati were going back and forth for second. Kakati takes it. Griffin Dowler third. Further back, it's going to be Hendricks ahead of Santora, who reclaimed that 4th position. But how about it for your points leader, Cooper Auclair, extending it here in heat number 2. Auclair, Kakati, Dowler, Hendricks, Santora. That's your top 5. That is Rylance, Archer, Lewis, Bell, and Callis. That is your top 10 in Senior Max. What a race there. What a way to round out our second round of heat racing action here. We're going to go to a commercial break before we get ready for some feature racing action.
Studies show that even the best current generation of simulators only convince 50% of the human brain that they are real. Here at Simcraft, that just isn't realistic enough. Developed to offer the most realistic karting sim experience in the world, all testing has shown that the physics engine used in Simcraft's Grid 1 model convinces 90% of the human brain that you are actually on track. Now that is the real deal.
So you finally want to get behind the wheel, huh?
Yeah, I've been shooting for 3 years and I've never got to drive.
Well, you're gonna need some more gear than just your helmet. Why don't you go to shopakr.com? They got their inventory online and they'll ship it the same day if you order before 5:30 p.m. Eastern.
They got shoes?
Yep.
Gloves?
Yep.
Rip protectors?
Got those too.
Can they make me go fast?
No.
Here at Acceleration Kart Racing, we've got everything you need to get on track. What happens next? Well, that's on you. Check us out online at shopakr.com.
Here at MPG Motorsports, our main goal is to provide the best pathway into professional motorsports for our entire team, drivers and mechanics alike. We're based out of Whiteland Raceway Park in Indiana. For more information, contact us at chase@mpg-motorsports.com.
Studies show that even the best current generation of simulators only convince 50% of the human brain that they are real. Here at Simcraft, that just isn't realistic enough. Developed to offer the most realistic karting sim experience in the world, all testing has shown that the physics engine used in Simcraft's Grid 1 model convinces 90% of the human brain that you are actually on track. Now that is the real deal.
So you finally want to get behind the wheel, huh?
Yeah, I've been shooting for 3 years and I've never got to drive.
Well, you're gonna need some more gear than just your helmet. Why don't you go to shopakr.com? They got their inventory online and they'll ship it the same day if you order before 5:30 p.m. Eastern.
They got shoes?
Yep.
Gloves?
Yep.
Rip protectors?
Got those too.
Can they make me go fast?
No.
Here at Acceleration Kart Racing, we've got everything you need to get on track. What happens next? Well, that's on you. Check us out online at shopakr.com.
Here at MPG Motorsports, our main goal is to provide the best pathway into professional motorsports for our entire team, drivers and mechanics alike. We're based out of Whiteland Raceway Park in Indiana. For more information, contact us at chase@mpg-motorsports.com.
Why do you come here? Is this your career?
Or is it all about fun? A chance to get away and leave it all behind?
Or do you chase chase your personal best? Challenging yourself over and over again. Why do you come here?
Maybe you're here to collect moments. Good ones. And not so good ones.
Where you can't afford mistakes because you want that victory. It's all about this one moment when the hard work finally pays off.
This is the place that brings us closer to the people who share our story. Whoever we are,
Whatever we're here for, racing is who we are.
Welcome back to Grand Junction Motor Speedway here in Grand Junction, Colorado for Race Road Tax's U.S. Trophy West Series presented by XGL Motorsports. Here we go. We are ready, or almost ready, for some Junior Max racing, the first of 4 finals that we are going to see this afternoon at the beautiful Grand Junction Motor Speedway. Eggleston on pole position ahead of Antoine Lemieux. Xander Malatesta in 3rd. DeChesney 4th. Drysdale 5th. Presley 6th. And your points leader heading into this weekend, Gage Korn, is tail end of the field heading into the main event. This is best case scenario for Eggleston and Lemieux, who are in tow of Gage Korn in terms of the overall points standings heading into this weekend's event. With Eggleston and Korn splitting wins in the heats, Eggleston now is looking to hopefully jump ahead of Gage Korn heading into tomorrow's final race of the championship in terms of the points. Green flag in the air. Great start for Eggleston. Even better start for Lemieux around the outside. What a move to slot himself into P1. Eggleston to 2nd. There's DeChesney up into 3rd already. Malatesta is going to take 3rd right back. He's up to 3rd. Drysdale to 4th. DeChesney is trying to hold off 5th. Can't do it. How about it for Eggleston trying to go around the outside of Lemieux? Looking for a crossover. Not going to happen. Antoine Lemieux leads as they head into the S section of the racetrack. Where's Gage Korn? Already up into 5th. Eggleston goes wide. Good crossover move. Switchback almost complete. Can't make it stick. Drysdale holds the outside. 2-car breakaway out front. Malatesta now has to fend off a bunch of go-karts behind him. Gage Korn is one of them. He's on the inside and through up into 4th. He started last. He's already passed 3 go-karts in the opening lap here to put himself in 4th. How about it, though? These top 2, if they can continue to do this, they might be able to check out here from the likes of Malatesta and Gage Korn. The green and black go-kart there sits in 3rd. He's going to have a lot of work to do to fend off the hard-charging Gage Korn as well. Cadence Presley there moving up. DeChesney up the racetrack. He makes that move stick up into 6th. Look for the crossover. Malatesta goes a little too wide there in the bumps of turn 4. Can't make it work. Malatesta loses a spot to Gage Korn, who's already up into 3rd. Having to defend now from Malatesta. Here comes Kyle Drysdale. It's not been the weekend he would have wanted after the pace that we've expected to come to see from him throughout the first 6 rounds of the championship. But for Malatesta, he's going to fight back. Reclaim 3rd. Goes too wide, though. And Gage Korn, a great crossover move, takes back that 3rd spot and some. He's going to pull away here and extend his advantage. Clear daylight behind him. Clear daylight ahead of him. What a great camera shot there with the mountains in the background. This beautiful facility has provided some great racing all day long. Speaking of which, the owner, Jesse Nolan, has put up a cash purse for Junior and Senior Max. Junior Max, $1,000 to the winner in today's main event. And for Senior Max, $2,000 for the winner in that one. So even more on the line for these drivers than a championship weekend. There's money on the line for this one. This is going to be great.
Yeah, no better place to have that purse on the line than Grand Junction. I've absolutely loved this track today, and it's all culminating right now in these final feature races as it goes through. You've got Lemieux that is up there in the lead and is holding on fairly consistent. We'll see what the gap is when the line is crossed now. And as it goes through, gap a 10.5, just a little over. There it is. And then Nick's Eggleston has a bit of a gap back from there. It's about a second, a little over a second from there, 1.2. And then, of course, you have Korn that is a little bit further back as well. They're in 3rd place. So we've got to see where that battle goes for Gage Korn. All the way back into the back due to having 2 cameras on the kart during the heat, and only 1 camera is allowed. And that is one of those mistakes that you make that you can't afford it. However, Gage Korn has fought back up into 3rd place, is continuing to move forward as we go down the banana straight, and is continuing to gain time. Gage Korn very, very quick, but for Antoine Lemieux, it is important Antoine Lemieux holds onto this lead, not for the cash prize. We're looking ahead at the championship as well. And don't forget, we have tomorrow as well, the final round here in the U.S. Trophy West Series as it stands. But here we go. This is Lemieux trying to hold off Eggleston there in the red cart, and Eggleston doing a very good job of just staying nice and consistent there, the number 224. You see the 233 of Korn just behind. You see the leaning forward. You see the leaning into the apex. They are really trying to make these carts work through these 16 laps. And as it sits, we're only lap 5 of 16. And man, they are going. Look at the air through the S's. And there it is. Up the inside goes Eggleston. Now it's Lemieux in second place. Eggleston looks over the shoulder and says, all right, I got the place. Now what do I do? Now where do I go? You're going to have to defend. Defend like a lion. How wide can you make that cart? The answer should be as wide as the Grand Junction Raceway here as we go through and around, and now there we go. It is going to be Eggleston ahead of Lemieux here, and look at that. Those two battling, and the airs they had through the S's. Korn is now right in the mix. Lemieux looks over the shoulder. Now as we dive into turn 1, I believe that Korn is going to try the outside. Doesn't make it stick, but man, this battle is going to rage on. Laps 6 to 16, 10 to go here.
10 to go, and Gage Korn says it's time to go. Up to second. Gage Korn started tail end of the field, and in 6 laps, he's found himself into P2 here ahead of Antoine Lemieux. His sights are now set on Nick Eggleston, his main championship rival in the weekend. But you can't just think championship here, Gage, because there's $1,000 on the line if you win this one, thanks to the Grand Junction Motor Speedway owner, Jesse Nolan. So, championship plus money on the line throughout the weekend here. Money today, championship tomorrow. A lot at stake for the junior and senior max drivers here. But for Gage Korn, all he can think about is passing Nick Eggleston, who started on pole here in this one. He's probably looking back and thinking, how on earth is Gage Korn already on my rear bumper? And he is, I thought for a moment Korn's going to go around Eggleston, but not yet. Looks back over his shoulder, sees that Gage Korn is all over him at this point. Lap 7 of 16 in the book. Still 9 to go. This is a long main event for these junior drivers. But Gage Korn, as it stands, looks to be the quicker of the two drivers. Lemieux starting to fade early on in this one. So, a 2-cart breakaway out front. This is probably when the battle for the lead and the win in this one. 3 corners to go in lap number 7. Can Nick Eggleston hold on for 8 more laps? We'll have to wait and see. Down the front straightaway, a great exit for Gage Korn. He's going to look to the inside here, potentially not going to make it happen. Nick Eggleston doing everything he can to stay in front of Gage Korn, but this is the part of the racetrack where we've seen Gage make a lot of moves. This is not one of them, though. He's being very patient behind Nick Eggleston. He knows that there is still 8 laps to go in this main event. No need to battle, no need to bring Antoine Lemieux back, but he moves Eggleston up the racetrack. Eggleston holds on to the top spot. The more you battle, though, you risk bringing Lemieux back into the mix, and that's not what you want to do if you're Gage Korn.
Yeah, for Gage Korn, it's just look over the shoulder, it's run, it's stay consistent. Looking at lap times, 55.286 on the last lap for Gage Korn, 55.395 for Nick Eggleston on the last lap. You see their exit out of the right-hander at the end of the banana straight. Now they go into the final 2 corners here, the double left-hander, and now these two are just bumper to bumper, holding on as best they can down this main straight. And look at that. You couldn't fit anything between them because they are right there with each other. They are going through. Eggleston trying to hold off Gage Korn, and maybe it's not going to work as we see the switchback come through. And now they're side by side yet again. And now as we go through and down, this is again going to be the moment where it is going to be Eggleston back ahead of Korn. Korn keeps looking like he has the move, and Eggleston just has all the right answers to defend it. And now you see them as they come through the SS section. Look at Lemieux. Lemieux is not that far back now. So now you're going back into a 3-cart battle yet again for this run. Now, what can Korn do down the banana straight? Is he going to think about a lunge up the inside? Does not. So Korn settling in, trying to pick the marks. The first sector of the track is where it seems like Gage Korn wants to get the pass done on Nick Eggleston. And that is, it's the stronger part for Gage Korn, but he can't make anything stick. Eggleston has the answers every time they come around. Let's watch it again here as they go second verse, same as the first. Turn 1, turn 2, turn 3 here, left-hander. And now, do you have the answer for the switchback? You don't. You stay single file here because Lemieux is now half a second back from these two that are separated by just millimeters as we go around the track. We go up into the S's yet again. And again, it's just right there. And I think there's a little bit of just games being played too by Corn. I think Eggleston knows Corn is right there, and really all that Corn is looking for at this point is for Eggleston to make a mistake. Just stay there, apply the pressure, be consistent, and just keep it moving. Lemieux is just also floating back a little bit. I think Lemieux is just in a comfortable place. Is a consistent pace compared to the top two, and is just kind of comfortable where Lemieux is at. Doesn't want to get too mixed up in big battles and any sort of drama, and just wants to sort of settle back in third. But these two are really where the pressure is at as we go on. Lap 11 is 16 now.
5 laps to go for Eggleston to hold off Gage Corn. Inside through. Very smart stuff from Gage Corn. He knew that he got crossed over the last lap that he made that move, so he parks it on the apex. Does not allow Eggleston to go for the crossover maneuver this time around. Gage Corn, last to first challenge is almost complete. He now needs to hold on for 5 more laps to win $1,000 here in Junior Max. And he has a sizable lead here over Eggleston down the banana straightaway here. A decent run for Eggleston, but not enough. All that battling has brought Antoine Lemieux back into the mix. He has found new life here on board that 234 machine. He senses he has a chance at $1,000 in this one. 4 laps to go in Junior Max for Gage Corn. Eggleston has not let him get away, though, through turn 1, 2, and 3. They're going to climb the hill here now. Too far to make a move for Eggleston. Gage Corn right now, his go-kart looks to be handling better than the two behind him. His hands are much quieter than the guys in second and third. Nonetheless, the draft is going to keep Eggleston in play, but that was wide for Nick's Eggleston. Antoine Lemieux all over the rear bumper of the 224. Look at that. Eggleston using every curve possible and some. The go-kart got full air there through turn 7 and 8. Down banana straightaway. He's too far to make a lunge as it stands. Gage Corn, he's quick in every corner that is important, which are the corners that lead onto the straightaways here. As it stands at the moment, I don't know if Nick Eggleston has enough to challenge Gage Corn back. Nonetheless, lap 12 in the books. We're starting lap 13 of 16. The gap is 4.5 tenths as it stands at the moment. That still means that Eggleston is within drafting range if he can put a good couple of corners together. Or if Antoine Lemieux can get to the rear bumper of Eggleston and work with him. 2 karts are always or generally faster than 1. But as it stands, the top 3 have seemingly plateaued out front. They're all matching each other's lap times, and if anything, Gage Corn is actually the quickest of the 3. So it looks good for the MPG driver.
Yeah, and for Gage Corn, this is exactly what you want to see. Going down the banana straight yet again, you want to see these two starting in a little feisty, and you want to just hold on ahead and run your own race through. And it's $1,000 that will be coming your way at the end of this race. So just keep it going and just keep it moving. We're coming across the line for lap 14. You see tucking the helmet there against the steering wheel as close as you dare, and then sit up right before the corner and get it moving. And it was a 55.1 fastest lap of this final on that last lap. 55.187 versus a 55.2 for Nick Eggleston. So plenty of pace. You see Nick Eggleston looking across the right shoulder there, looking back to see where Lemieux is at and where he needs to defend. But it is at the moment these 3 spread out. As you said, they've kind of stabilized. Oh, big curve run from all of them, though. But it seems like the karts are handling the curves fairly well here at Grand Junction. They are doing well, even though they're ramping the curves hard in the S's, and you would think it might cause an issue. They're able to hold on to it and keep it moving. Now we go through the right-hander here at the end of the banana straight. Yet again, and it still sits with Lemieux and Eggleston moving around here. We're coming across the line. This will be lap 15 of 16 that we're starting. It's 2 to go now. And Corn, where does the gap land? It's half a second the gap and just a couple tenths off between Eggleston and Lemieux. I think if Corn can keep it smooth for the final 2 laps, 55.185 again. But best lap was Antoine Lemieux with a 55.0. on the last lap. So keep your eyes on Lemieux, keep your eyes on Eggleston and Korn. If you've got anything left in the tank, you better dump it now as we go lap 15 to 16 through the S's, coming around for the left-hander onto the banana straight for the next to final time.
A lap and a half to go for Gage Korn. Nix Eggleston seemingly is closing the gap slightly. The last couple of laps, Gage Korn was about 2 to 300th quicker, which is just enough to keep the 224 behind him. But as they round the penultimate corner and the final corner, to see the white flag in the air, 1 lap to go for Gage Korn, your points leader in Junior Max. The gap closed by about half a tenth. Nix Eggleston is going to have to find everything he can out of that go-kart to see if he can close the gap to the 233. Through turn 3, not enough. Now they're going to go down the hill into the bumpy braking zone here, where Nix Eggleston's made a couple mistakes throughout this race. Pretty solid there, a little wide of the apex nonetheless. Gives him a decent run up the hill through the S's, but for Gage Korn, this looks to be a pretty decent lap. A small mistake there, a little bit wide out of turn number 8 and 9. That's going to give Eggleston a decent chance down the hill through the banana straightaway, but he's not close enough. It would take a heroic lunge from this distance to make a move stick. Not going to happen. 3 corners to go for Gage Korn. He leads the points heading into this weekend. He's going to extend his points advantage and win $1,000 in Junior Max. Gage Korn wins here in round 7 of the U.S. Trophy West Series. Nix Eggleston finishes in second. Antoine Lemieux rounds out your top 3, but the last to first challenge is complete for Gage Korn.
What a mega run for Gage Korn there. And you can see the celebrations coming across the line there as we go. Gage Korn winning by half a second at the line to Nix Eggleston, who was putting in Herculean efforts, and Antoine Lemieux, who had a Herculean start trying to hold the lead. But in the end, last to first challenge, you got to respect it. Keep your eyes on Gage Korn. Leads the points, and tomorrow could just sign the final check. We'll see how things go tomorrow, but that's a celebration to finish a Saturday.
Yeah, very impressive stuff from Gage Korn. I mean, even when you knock him down there, he has to start in the back of the grid. You think all hope is lost. He flips the script, makes it happen. Fastest kart on the racetrack for a majority of that one there. Proves why he is the points leader heading into tomorrow's final round. For Nix Eggleston, a great second place finish. Keeps himself in the fight. Antoine Lemieux third. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to go for some micro and mini max racing.
Is united from all corners of the globe, now together as one. 1 week to change your future, your career, your life. The time is now. Be bold, be brave, be brilliant. Stand tall and celebrate. This is your week. And when all is said and done, and the silence returns, 12 months of hard work is about this week. 1 week. The 2022 Rotax Grand Finals.
Welcome back to Grand Junction Motor Speedway here in Grand Junction, Colorado. Round 7 of Race Rotax's U.S. Trophy West Series. We just saw an amazing Junior Max final. Now it's time for the young kids, Mini and Micro Max. These are 8 to 13-year-olds collectively, and this is a split class, but they're going to stagger the starts. So the 3 you see in front of us, that is Mini Max. That's Jackson Porter, Isaac Payne, Gage Grant. The group behind them, that is Micro Max. that consists of Lucas Tarango, Cam Becker, Paxton Romero, Tyson Underwood, Connor Lipka, Sebastian Johnson, and others. The main storyline to me is Cam Becker had to start at the tail end of Micromax after putting it on pole in that class. He drove his way through in both heat races. He starts on the outside of row number 1. But for Minimax, they're going to take the green first, and it's the high V red machine of Jackson Porter, your points leader, heading into this weekend. He about has the points wrapped up if he completes a great day of racing today. Jackson Porter on the inside, Isaac Payne on the outside, Gage Grant in tow of Jackson Porter, just waiting to see the green flag fly and get started of lap 1 of 14 here. 14 lap main event. Isaac Payne gets a jump just like he did in the second heat earlier today. Isaac Payne takes the top spot away from Jackson Porter, who is in second. Gage Grant slots in line in third. Now it's time for Micromax to take the green flag inside row. Gets a great jump. Lucas Tarango, the P1. Cam Becker's going to hold the outside ahead of Paxton Romero. That is key for Cam Becker's race, but Romero trying to go on the outside of him, can't make it stick. Now it's time for Tarango versus Cam Becker, the two quickest drivers in the Micromax class all day today. We saw them qualifying. Now we're going to get a chance to see those two drivers go at it head-to-head here in this 14-lap main event. Lucas Tarango was very impressive in that second heat race, extending his advantage over the drivers behind him by over 3 seconds. Let's see if Cam Becker can have an answer for the number 7 machine. Down the banana straightaway, it's Tarango ahead of Becker, ahead of Romero, who has Tyson Underwood all over his bumper. No move to the inside there. They're going to say single file, and no! Cam Becker drops a tire in the dust and loops it around. Becker from second to the tail end of the Micromax class, and now he has it all to do again. Just like in the heat races where he had to start last, this time Cam Becker puts himself in last, and it's a last to first challenge for him.
You know, he did it once with less laps, so it's not to say Cam Becker can't do it. It's just to say that I don't think Cam Becker is doing this by choice, as Cam Becker already has the move past the number 52, up 1 place now into P13 overall, and is going to just have to continue to push forward. It's going to be a tall ask across 14 laps. The field spread out a little bit more than we have seen it do throughout the rest of this weekend as we check in on the front here at Lucas Tarango, and is running through that side-by-side Romero and Underwood, and it is going to be a switch back. Do they get the place? And it does look like at that point it is a pass clean, a pass done, a pass dusted. Potentially, possibly. We'll see how this one continues. These two are going to continue to be just right in the mix with each other. Romero and Underwood, they are going to keep it moving all the way around, moving and pushing and going. They are keeping each other very honest. Remember, these are the 8 to 13-year-olds. This is the class where the future is showing. So these drivers are racing very, very hard because they have a point to prove. They want to show that they are strong racers. They want to keep moving forward because you never know where their karting careers could go from here. A lot of the great big names in motorsports started out in karting, and now they just continue here today. And look over the right shoulder there for the number 55 of Romero. You're trying to see where is Underwood behind. What can you do to defend? And Underwood is looking around the inside here into the right-hander at the end of the banana straight. Goes for it, switch back through for Romero, who comes out ahead, and it does look like it could be Underwood that is ahead at this time. And now as we go down the main straight here, we'll see where that slots through, and it does look like it is Underwood getting ahead of Romero as they go down. But I do think Romero is going to get feisty again and look for a pass. Look at that, getting aggressive through. They are absolutely racing each other as hard as possible, and that's going to introduce Lipka into the mix as well. The more these two battle, the more the karts behind get involved, and the more the karts behind get involved, crazier the battle will get as we go through lap 4 of 14 here, and it's going to keep going for another 10 laps.
Here's a good look at our Mini-Max drivers. We saw the great start that Isaac Payne had. Jackson Porter was about 7 or so tenths behind in the opening lap. Now 5 laps into a 14-lap main event, the gap is closed to less than 1.5 tenths of a second. Jackson Porter nearly on the bumper of the 177 machine of Isaac Payne. Porter knows that he just needs to keep it clean for his championship hopes, but nonetheless, for a driver that's only lost 3 events, whether it's heat or finals, all season long, he wants to keep that record alive. The dominant showing of Jackson Porter being put to the test this weekend with Isaac Payne leading the group as it stands. We still have about 8 or so laps to go in this one for Isaac Payne to steal one from Jackson Porter, who went around the outside of the opening lap to take the lead from him. Now Payne needs to defend from the 122 machine. Gage Grant doing a good job to stay about a second behind of Porter, so he's still keeping them honest enough to where if the 2 leaders fight, Gage Grant has a chance in this one. Crossing the stripe this time around, the gap is now 3 tenths. A great lap there for Isaac Payne to extend the advantage over Jackson Porter. Now, back to the Micromax class here. Durango still leads by 2.5 seconds over Tyson Underwood. Then it's Romero, who's under fire now from Connor Lipka. A little further back, Sebastian Johnson. Then it's going to be Cam Becker, who, after that spin, has found himself back inside of the top 6 in Micromax. So it's all still to play for Cam Becker. A potential podium is in the cards, but the win is a little bit out of question. He's about 6 seconds back from Durango as it stands. He would need a second a lap, roughly, to make anything happen. But for Becker, like I mentioned earlier, a podium still up for grabs for him. Here's a great battle, though, for the last spot on the podium today. It's Romero versus Lipka. Lipka's teammate Underwood is about a second in the distance there, so his goal would be to get around Romero and work with his teammate out front. That's a small mistake there from Lipka heading onto the back straightaway. So that's going to give Sebastian Johnson behind him a decent chance to stay in tow, but not close enough. Down the back straightaway into this great braking zone. This is an opportunity for passing all day long. We've seen drivers make mistakes there, but they stay single file as it stands. Lap 7 in the books. We're getting ready to start lap 8 momentarily. 6.5 laps to go here for our Micro Max drivers. Lipka all over the bumper, goes a little wide in turn 1. That's a mistake from the comp car driver. Romero now doesn't have to defend as much over Connor Lipka, knowing that the gap is growing behind him. How about it for Cam Becker? All over the bumper of Sebastian Johnson, inside and through in turn number 4 for Cam Becker. Doesn't slide wide. Great move there for the 16 machine. Back up inside the top 5.
Yeah, Cam Becker is absolutely pushing the most that he can find out of that cart to continue to move forward, and that is going to be frustration for Cam Becker as well, dropping back the way he did and now trying to fight back forward. I know one last to first challenge can be fun every once in a while, but doing it twice, especially on a feature race, not what you want to see. Is we see the battle ahead of Cam Becker there, and that is going to be the battle between Johnson, Lipka, and Romero there that are in the mix, and this is going to be Lipka and Romero. They have swapped places. It is Lipka into P6. Romero there getting a move done, getting a move dusted, and that is throwing the hand up, trying to get something through, and there is another cart in the mix. And guess who it is? It's the number 16 of Cam Becker. Cam Becker. We haven't said Cam Becker's name enough today, so we're going to say it a little bit more as we go. Watch this three-way battle. Up the inside goes Becker on Lipka, the number 44 there, and gets the move done clean as you please through the S's. And now as we come around, left-hander going down the banana straight now, and it is going to be Mr. Becker trying to get a run on Romero there. That is the number 55 ahead. He's going to look around to the right-hand side. I don't know what he's fueled that card up with, but it is speed. He is speed up the inside. Gone, done, dusted. Thank you very much. Gets the run through. Can he hold it, though, as he had to go deep into the right-hander, the hairpin out of the banana straight? Holds on to it. 2 places in 1 lap. Becker now up into P6, onto a podium place here in the final race. I think catching Underwood might be a little bit of an ask. I'm not going to lie, because the gap is 2.5 seconds there, but I've seen crazier things happen. We're at 9 of 14. I think really Becker's goal is to defend from Romero, defend from Lipka, defend from Johnson, and just keep them behind and keep it nice and clean. And it looks like, as you know about Cam Becker, should be doable. Back in the background, it is still plenty of action behind, and if any of these guys start battling, it's going to just open up the door for Becker to get away. So they need to kind of work together if they can. I don't know if they'll want to, but they need to in order to try to keep moving. And you see Becker has already opened up a pretty sizable gap in just one lap, so plenty of pace to be found there. Up in your mini-max, it is Porter ahead of Payne still, just barely as it sits. Oh, there's a big ramp off of a curb. That's going through the S's. That's going down into the banana straight, and that is the 122 of Porter, who is behind Payne. That cart was in the air about 15 degrees off level, and now as they run down into the right-hander, it is going to be Payne ahead of Porter. And I tell you what, that for Porter was probably a little bit of pain because that cart had ramped hard off the curb.
Yeah, Jackson Porter, that's not going to do his go-kart any good at all, but nonetheless, lap 10 in the books. We're starting lap 11 of 14 for Isaac Payne to hold on to the lead ahead of Jackson Porter, who had just taken the lead over Payne the lap prior, made that mistake, and now he's back down in the second place there. Dust being thrown on the racetrack. That's one driver off. That's going to put some dirt on some of these drivers' tires there. But nonetheless, Payne ahead of Porter. This is where Porter made the mistake last time around. He cleans it up much better this time around through the X section. Now on to the banana straight. This is where Porter got a pretty good run on the last lap. Let's see if he can do it again. In tow of Isaac Payne. Does he send a lunge up the inside? Oh, patient with it. He's going to remain patient. Your points leader heading into this weekend, doing what he did all year long, and that is drive smart and drive patient. Now, through the penultimate corner and through the final corner for Isaac Payne and Jackson Porter to see 3 laps to go. Lap 11 of 14 in the books. We're starting lap 12 now. The 177 of Isaac Payne still leads over Jackson Porter. Now, shifting our focus back to the Micromax class, let's give a little look where Cam Becker is. 1.3 seconds behind Tyson Underwood. It was 3 seconds a couple of laps ago. So to answer your question, Brad, of whether or not it's possible, I don't think it's a question of whether or not it's possible. I think it's probable with the pace that we're seeing from Cam Becker, who, by the way, is driving quicker than what Tarango has been doing. Your leader, there he is, the number 7 machine, has 3 laps to go to claim victory here in Micro Max and extend his points lead. But for Cam Becker, after a spin in the opening lap, he put himself in last, and now he's driving his way back through the field. Look at the gap. We don't have to even look at the timing sheet anymore because our eyes are telling us, listen, there's only 2 car lengths between himself and a second place finish after facing the wrong direction 11 laps ago. Down the back straightaway now for Becker. Does he get a good enough exit to make a move into the hairpin? It looks to be close enough. He's going to peek a nose up the inside. Who's going to break later? Becker does. Maybe a little too late for him. He makes it stick this time around. Cam Becker up to P2. Now, he's too far away for the lead, but what a run. I mean, Cam Becker must be frustrated with himself after that mistake because he might have had a chance at a victory. Now, you know who else has a chance at a victory? Jackson Porter, who's looking to the inside. Not going to make it happen there on Isaac Payne. A lap and a half to go here in Mini Max. Who's going to take it, Payne or Porter? Rounding the penultimate corner into the final corner. White flag in the air for Isaac Payne to take victory here at Grand Junction Motor Speedway. Jackson Porter all over the rear bumper through turn 1, 2, and up the hill to see turn 3. This is the first of many passing opportunities on this racetrack. He survived the first one. Here comes the second one. Looks over his shoulder. He thinks he has enough of a gap over Porter, and he does. He has completed turn 4 now, and he can take a little bit of a brief break, a sigh of relief for Payne, but no, Jackson Porter got around him there in turn 5. He's now your leader. On to the back straightaway for Jackson Porter. A half a lap to go to claim victory here in Colorado. Through Banana Straight, can Isaac Payne make anything happen with 4 corners to go? Who's going to break later? Porter does. A bit of a mistake there from Porter. A decent exit for Isaac Payne. 2 corners to go. Does he throw it up the inside? No, but he's setting up for a great run on the straightaway. They're going to go side by side down the front straightaway. It's not going to be enough. Jackson Porter wins here at Grand Junction Motor Speedway ahead of Isaac Payne, ahead of Gage Grant. Now, for Lucas Tarango, he doesn't have to worry about anybody behind him because it is smooth sailing out front. He entered this weekend as the points leader. He's going to end the day extending his points lead. 4 corners to go for Lucas Tarango when he saw his main rival in this weekend's race spin on the opening lap. It gave him a sigh of relief. He rounds the final corner to win in Micro Max. Further back, it's going to be Cam Becker, who did the last to first challenge all day today in the heats and the final to finish in second, ahead of Tyson Underwood, ahead of Paxton Romero. That's your top 4. So much racing action all throughout, but it's Jackson Porter who narrowly beats Isaac Payne, and it's Lucas Tarango who by 3.5 seconds wins over Cam Becker.
You know, think about what could have been for Cam Becker, though, if he hadn't have had that incident early on. Lucas Tarango would have really been feeling the pressure. And Jackson Porter and Isaac Payne in the Mini-Max class, wow, what racing they showed. I mean, that was a good action all the way around. And now the question becomes for them, what happens there? But we are going to take another quick break really quick before we get ready for the Masters Max formation.
We're at a commercial break.
Here at MPG Motorsports, our main goal is to provide the best pathway into professional motorsports for our entire team, drivers and mechanics alike. We're based out of Whiteland Raceway Park in Indiana. For more information, contact us at chase@mpg-motorsports.com.
Welcome back, everybody, to Grand Junction Motor Speedway here in Grand Junction, Colorado. This is the Masters Max class. This is their final, and it's Christopher Mann on pole position ahead of Billy Cleveland. Then it's Clayton Kessler in third, Rene Bine, and Paul Talla there rounding out your top 5 here. A 16-lap main event for the Masters Max drivers, who has put on an absolute show for us in the opening 2 heats of the day. I expect more of that here in the final. Green flag is out. Great start for Great start for Cleveland around the outside.
Yeah, and as we keep this moving here, it is a good run for Bine and Hatala as well in the background. We saw during the heat races, they kind of tagged back a little bit, but they're in the mix for these 16 laps as well. But the top 3, Man, Cleveland, and Kessler, are going to be the ones to really keep an eye on, because they're the ones who are really battling out early on. So we see here, as it goes through the S's for the first time, you see Man ahead of Cleveland, ahead of Kessler. Now it's side by side. There it is. The 618 of Man gets passed there by Cleveland. Cleveland now up into the lead as we run down the banana straight for the first of 16 times here in the Masters Max final. And now it is through the right-hander at the end of the banana straight. And you can see a little bit of a switchback there, trying to make a pass go, not able to make it happen on this occasion. And now we head down the hill here. We cross the start-finish line, and it is going to be Man, Kessler, Cleveland. There's a dive. There's a switch. These two are battling very hard, and Cleveland in the background just kind of says, yeah, keep that going, guys. I enjoy watching this. You might give me the win if you're not careful. Now Man is in second place. Kessler's in first. Cleveland's in third. Those two do not know how to hold a position for longer than about a corner, because there it is, switching back again. And Cleveland's up the inside looking for it now as we go into the S's. They're going side by side through the S's, and there it is. Kessler has to back out. Cleveland will be up into second place now as we go down the banana straight here. And I tell you what, Alex, this has been good action. We're 2 laps in, and I think we're just going to see these 3 battle for the remaining 14 laps all the way through this final race.
Yeah, I mean, we're only 2 laps in, but it felt like the last 2 laps of a main event, the way those laps shaped up. Nonetheless, 13 laps to go here in the Masters Max final for Christopher Mann to hold on ahead of Billy Cleveland and Clayton Kessler, who made that mistake on the previous lap to lose 2 spots in 3 corners. So now, for Man, can he hold off Cleveland for the next 13 laps? We'll have to wait and find out. These drivers have been so much fun to watch all day long here on this beautiful Grand Junction Motor Speedway with the mountains in the background. You don't get much better than this at a go-kart track in terms of the view, let alone the racing that is provided. And the racing has been great. So many passing opportunities around this place. The long straightaways are great at allowing for late braking opportunities like this one right here. Billy Cleveland closing the gap. 2 corners to go here to round lap number 3 and start lap number 4. Christopher Mann, the last couple of heat races, this is where he seems to shine. The opening couple of laps, he's able to extend his advantage. Billy Cleveland is great towards the end of the race. So for Billy Cleveland, I'm sure his setup is remotely or pretty much the same as what we've seen in the morning sessions in terms of, you know, stay within the top 2, the top 3, and then at the end of the race is where you can really pounce. So he is probably pleasantly surprised to see himself on the bumper of Christopher Mann in the opening couple of laps here. This is playing into his hands very, very well. And for Clayton Kessler, I thought he was going to make a late lunge on the inside of Billy Cleveland. Thought better of it. 4 tenths separates your top 3. This is incredible stuff in Masters Max. Now, they may be the crazy old guys, but they're also the wise old guys, right? They know what it takes to win a race around here, what it takes to win a race in the Masters Max class. And so I don't expect to see too much racing action over the course of the next couple of laps here, because they know that the racing really begins to kick off with about 5, maybe 4 to go. But nonetheless, with these 3, they know that they are the 3 that have been, you know, heading the field. They can kind of afford to battle out a little more than in other classes. But if you're Billy Cleveland, for example, you know that as it stands, you feel that you're the quickest go-kart on the racetrack. You're faster than Kessler, and you seem to be quicker than Christopher Mann as it stands. So if I'm Cleveland, I sit back, relax, enjoy the show, save my tires, save my equipment until the last couple of laps, and then I can pounce, make my move, and don't look back. But it's a great opportunity here for Cleveland to make a move, and he answered my question right there. That was a perfect chance to make a pass, decided better of it because he knows there's still 10 laps to go in this main event.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You've got to remember for the drivers. It's 16 laps. Their heats were only 10. You've got to make it an extra 6 laps and go through. Now, these three, again, they're going to battle hard, but even though we're looking at them and we're thinking, man, this is tight competitive racing, they're really being patient. They're being smooth with it. Just as you said, Alex, they're very calm on the run, even though they are absolutely running these go-karts to their limits. They're going to just keep things nice and smooth and consistent all the way throughout. As we run through the S's here, it's all about don't make a mistake, because the thing is, with a field this small of just 5 karts, you make one mistake and you are eliminated from contention of the podium, potentially. You could have one little mistake, one little slide, you spin, and all of a sudden you find yourself finishing 5th out of 5 karts. So you've got to be very, very smooth and consistent all the way top to bottom, and we continue to see that there as we come around the final corner and we go down the main straight yet again. It is second verse, same as the first, man, Cleveland, Kessler, but I do think that Cleveland has some run, and if these two start battling, it opens the door for Kessler, and Kessler can start making a move forward, and they will continue this round here. 7 of 16. We're officially about to hit the halfway point as it sits. They just continue running. They continue being consistent, and it is best lap and last lap was the fastest lap for Christopher Mann on track. So he's got plenty of pace there. Billy Cleveland, 55.37 and a 55.34 for Christopher Mann, 55.5 for Clayton Kessler. So Clayton Kessler kind of tucking back. Look at this as we go down the banana straight. Cleveland right there, and again, you see he's right there. Billy Cleveland is right there, but opts to not make the pass, and that is, it just shows racecraft. It shows wiseness. It shows knowledge. You know what you're doing, and now you see Cleveland look over the shoulder. We cross the line. We hit lap 8 of 16. And yet again, we're going to see them running through, and there we go. Man, Cleveland, Kessler. What will change between them? Well, at the moment, not a lot.
Halfway through, halfway home here in Masters Max. And for Billy Cleveland, just waiting behind Christopher Mann for the door to open for him. But I think Christopher Mann has made a mistake in turn number 4. A couple more mistakes like that, and Billy Cleveland knows better than to wait behind Christopher Mann. So it wouldn't surprise me one bit if in the next mistake that we see from Christopher Mann, if there's another mistake, we see Cleveland go up the inside. Nonetheless, though, the gap between second and third is growing. It's 0.5 of a second as it stands last time around. Clayton Kessler starting to lose touch from your top 2. Lap 9 complete of 16. Christopher Mann doing a great job to maintain his advantage over Billy Cleveland. The last couple of laps, Cleveland was quicker than Mann, but as it stands at the moment, Christopher Mann starting to open up his advantage slightly. 2.5 last time around when they crossed the stripe. So for Billy Cleveland, if I'm Billy, the next time that I have a chance in a move, I might go through, because you don't know when the opportunity is going to come again. Through the S's and onto the back straightaway. Whoa, Christopher Mann, a big mistake there. And look at that. That's all it takes in karting. One mistake, and they're back on your bumper here down banana straightaway. Billy Cleveland up on the bumper. Do we see move to the inside? Yes, we do. Inside through. Billy Cleveland makes the move stick. Like I had mentioned, the next mistake we see from Christopher Mann, Billy Cleveland's going to capitalize, and he does. 7 laps to go here in Masters Max for Billy Cleveland to hold on. But for Christopher Mann, he's back on the bumper of the 658 machine, so this one's not done just yet. But how about it for Clayton Kessler? He's closed the gap to about half second to your leader. So the comp kart driver, the driver who was on pole position for the heat races, is back in the mix of things and in with a shout at a win with 6 to go.
Yeah, 6 to go here as it sits. And for Cleveland, that was an important pass. But now for Mann, the important pass is going to be to get back ahead here. And you can see that Christopher Mann has closed the gap very quickly. Now we go down the banana straight here, and you can see Kessler is just, again, still sitting behind. Needs these two to battle a little bit more so that way Kessler can get in the mix. Christopher Mann not close enough to have a pass at this moment. Billy Cleveland just trying to stay smooth and continue to eke out lap time and move forward. Was fastest by 0.4 of a second on that last lap. And now we'll see as the next lap times come in, it's a 55.4 flat for Billy Cleveland, 55.5 flat for Christopher Mann, and a 55.6 for Clayton Kessler. So Clayton Kessler is there, but not there, if it makes sense. And Billy Cleveland is continuing to move forward. You've got Christopher Mann, who just needs to stay in touch with Billy Cleveland as they run here into the S's. Again, we go up through the S's now, and this is going to be, if I see any mistakes, it's typically going to be here is based on what we've seen today. And there we go. Clean move through for Billy Cleveland, and Christopher Mann now right on the back down the banana straight, slipstreaming. You can see looking a little bit around, close enough for a lunge, not really, and very, very smart there for Christopher Mann to not try to lunge through there when you're that far behind Billy Cleveland. And now they come around the final corner again. We'll start lap 12 of 16 here, and we keep this moving. And for Billy Cleveland, I've got to wonder, what can you do to defend it? We know Christopher Mann is fast. Christopher Mann holds the fastest lap of the race, and again was faster than Billy Cleveland on that last lap. Now right on the back of the rear bumper here, Kessler tucking in a little bit, trying to get involved as well, just a little too far back. Billy Cleveland coming across the line, a little bit of curb to hug, and now they go up the S's one more time. They hit the S's, it's clean through, maybe a little bit cleaner for Christopher Mann than it was Billy Cleveland, a little bit of a mistake there. And now as they run down the banana straight, can Christopher Mann make the pass this time?
Down banana straightaway with just 4 laps to go for Billy Cleveland to hold on to the lead ahead of Christopher Mann. But for Clayton Kessler, that gap has shrunk. It was 0.6 of a second. It is much closer than that this time around. As they cross the stripe, it's 3.5 tenths. Clayton Kessler is on the charge when it matters most. Lap 13 of 16 underway, 4 to go for Billy Cleveland here. Through turn 3 and now down the hill to the tricky turn number 4. You cannot afford a mistake at this stage in the race. It'll be hard to come back from there. They all hit the apex cleanly. You see Cleveland there flipping the flap on that Masters Max motor, trying to just adjust the engine temp slightly. Now onto the back straightaway, onto banana straight. A decent exit for all 3 drivers, but Christopher Mann's got to run here. If he wants to, he could poke a nose on the inside. Who's gonna break latest? They all break around the same spot there. Cleveland holds on to fight for another corner. Penultimate corner done. Now the final corner is done. 3 laps to go for Billy Cleveland. A small mistake there at the center of the corner. It's going to give Mann a really good chance here to turn number 1 if he wanted to. It is a fast corner though. Thinks better of it. Through turn 1. Now up the hill for turns 2 and 3. Do we see anybody make a move, or are they going to be patient? I think they're going to be patient here and wait for at least the 2 to go signal before they start battling it out.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me that patience is paying dividends right now for all of these drivers, especially if you're going to be Clayton Kessler. Be patient, be right there in the mix, because if these 2 start battling a little too hard, you're right there and you can sneak through. You can see a little bit of an error from both of them through the S's, and now Clayton Kessler is just right on the back of Christopher Mann as we go down the banana straight. There it is. Is there a lunge? There is the lunge up the inside. You've got to secure that spot. You've got to block it off, and now you've got to prevent the switchback. Does a great job. And for Clayton Kessler, that is going to be your move up into second place now as it sits. And now Billy Cleveland opens up, as those 2 battle, opened up a half-second gap, lap 15 to 16. 2 laps to go this time by, and now what can you do to defend it? You run up the hill, you take the left-hander, you're going to go down the little drop here into the right-hander, and you just need those 2 to start battling each other yet again. Kessler, you need to catch up a little bit. You've got to find out how wide can you make this Masters Max Kart. Hopefully the answer is as wide as Grand Junction, because here you go. You got to defend it very hard. A little bit of an error through the S's, a little bit too much curb, I believe. And now we go down. He tucks in. He's trying to run. Cleveland, you see, looking over the left shoulder and saying, all right, where's Kessler? Tucking through. Mann is tucked in as well, trying to have a run, but not close enough for a pass. But it'll be white flag after the next 2 corners. It'll be 1 lap to go. Mann looks fast. Kessler looks persistent. And Cleveland looks like he's trying to just pull a gap here. White flag is in the air.
Across the line to see 1 lap to go for Billy Cleveland. That gap closed slightly from the last lap. It's only 4 tenths now between Cleveland and Kessler, but I don't think, as it stands, it's enough for Kessler to move on to Cleveland. Down the hill for turn number 4, and they're going to fight for second here. Mann thought about a move. Kessler with a big bobble on the inside. They're side by side for second, and this is a lifeline for your leader, Billy Cleveland, who extends his lead. Now the fight is for second. On to the back straightaway. Christopher Mann versus Clayton Kessler. who's going to come out on top for that second place spot. Down the hill they go. Kessler to the bottom of the track, man to the top of the racetrack, round the outside. That's a tough move to make, but he's going to try it. What a move. Christopher Mann makes the outside work. Kessler back on the inside. They almost make contact, but for Billy Cleveland, he looks back to see clear daylight. He wins Masters Max, and as they cross the stripe behind him, who takes second place? We'll have to wait and find out, but I believe it was Christopher Mann ahead of Clayton Kessler. What a battle for second place there. The gap between second and third was just over a tenth. So Christopher Mann makes the outside work. We haven't seen that move all day long. He pulls a trick out of the hat to finish in second. But for Billy Cleveland, patience works and it pays off. He wins in Masters Max.
Amazing move there. And I mean, Masters Max producing some good racing. We're getting ready to go to the big herd of Senior Max. But man, Masters Max might go down as some of the craziest racing on my book for the run here on Saturday.
And when all is said and done,
Colin, I need a new 219 chain. I need a 77 tooth sprocket. I need some more chain lube, and I need it probably as soon as like tomorrow. Dude, are you even listening? Like, we need this to run this weekend.
Want anything else?
What do you mean?
I already got it in the Kart on Acceleration Kart Racing's online store, bro. All orders over $200 get free shipping.
Oh, throw in a set of tires.
Done.
Everything you need, all in one place and shipped to your door for free on orders of $200 or more. Exclusions apply. Shop AKR.com.
Are you looking for an advantage in your competition? Well, Kart Class has done the hard work for you. We've traveled to your racetracks to give you the inside knowledge. So what does Kart Class offer? We've got drone footage that captures the racing lines, visual markers for your braking points, acceleration zones, and the best overtake opportunities on your racetrack. Pedal cam to show you where to brake and when to accelerate, and 360-degree footage to make sure you don't miss any parts on the racetrack. We've covered 13 racetracks in the United States, and Australia, you're up next. So visit kartclass.com to get your track information.
can you hear it? 1 week where the silence is broken. "394 drivers, 60 nations, united in their goal to be
the calm before the storm here for the Senior Max drivers. The last race of the day here for round 7 of Race Rotax's U.S. Trophy West Series, presented by XGL Motorsports, and it's Theo Ciccotti on pole position ahead of points leader Cooper Auclair. Griffin Dowler in 3rd, Gio Santora in 4th, Micah Hendricks 5th, Adam Rylance rounds out row 3 here in Senior Max. This is round 7 of an 8-round series here. A lot of points on the line. There's also a lot of money on the line. $2,000 is going to go to the winner of today's Senior Max main event. And then tomorrow we'll crown a champion. As it stands, Cooper Auclair leads the points. He's extended his advantage throughout the heat races today, but it could all change here in this final race of the day. Great start for Ciccotti on the inside. Cooper Auclair is going to get shoved out the way. Griffin Dowler to P2, Hendricks to 3rd. They're side by side for second. That's Santora trying to go on the inside of his teammate. Can't make it work. Rylance up into the top 6 there. A couple drivers around. Dylan Archer moved up the racetrack quite a bit. This is chaos to open up this race. That's going to be one of the drivers there. Couldn't get a number on that one. Nonetheless, Theo Kakati leads a pretty hefty advantage he has over the drivers in second and third. It's Dowler ahead of Hendricks, ahead of Auclair, ahead of Santora as it stands. Dowler goes defensive early. Auclair, late braking maneuver there, but Hendricks holds the outside, makes it work, and now Santora all over the bumper of his teammate there. That's the battle for fourth kicking off. Behind him, that's going to be, I believe, Bell there up into the top 5 or so, or top 6. No, that's Rylance. So Adam Rylance sits in 6th. Bell 7th. Dylan Archer is going to fall down the order after that opening scuffle there in turn 3. There's Rylance making a move. He's down in 8th. It is Bell up in 6th. A lot of shuffling for position on the opening lap and a half here in Senior Max. But for Theo Kakati, it couldn't have gone any better for him. A 1.2 second advantage as it stands at the moment. Dowler goes wide. So too does Hendricks. Cooper Auclair says, thank you very much. I'll take 3rd place.
Yeah, big gain there of lap 1 was Landon Billy, up 4 places on the start. And, of course, the big loser there, Dylan Archer, all the way down into P16 of this 18-kart grid as it sits, and we continue moving and going through here. And, I mean, the drivers are holding nothing back at this point. You've got money on the line. You've got points on the line. You've got a cart way off in the dirt there that is way out of the way, and now we continue across the line, and it's hard for me to tell exactly who that was. I see Billy and Smith are both dropping down the order. So right as I say, Landon Billy had a good start. It all goes away. So maybe I shouldn't name a driver and mention how great their lap 1 was. As we continue down here, lap 3 of 16, things are continuing to push. There continues to be pressure all the way around, and we will continue to see how these drivers handle it early on as we keep things going down the banana straight here. And to tell you what, Kakati just wants everything to keep going on behind him. He's got a 1.4 second gap, and he needs it to just stay there as we continue to see switchback moves back behind him there. And this is Dowler and Auclair that are battling, and they continue to go. You can see just how crazy the wind has gotten here. And yes, the wind does affect the carts just as much as it does everything else. So the wind has picked up ginormously. There's storms all in the area around the track here at Grand Junction. I shouldn't see anything hit the track, but the wind is going to play a part. And yes, the wind will affect the carts.
Yeah, it's gotten very windy here in Grand Junction, Colorado. You can see the flags moving all over the place. This is what you can expect here up in the mountain area. You're higher up in altitude, the wind will play a factor, and it will play a factor in how your kart is handling. There's a move to the inside. That's going to be Gio Santora back on the inside of Adam Rylance. Had a rough opening couple laps there for Gio Santora. He's back up inside the top 6. Late lunge on Rylance. He's through inside the top 5, but Rylance going to try to hold the outside there. You don't see that very often. Can't make it stick. Gio Santora back up into the top 6, but how about it for Cooper Auclair? He got around Griffin Dowler. It's unleashed the shackles on that comp kart machine. 4/10 faster than Kakati last time around. Cooper Auclair, your points leader, absolutely flying. He's not only thinking about points, he's thinking about money. $2,000 on the line, courtesy of Jesse Nolan, the owner of Grand Junction Motor Speedway. Look at that. Gio Santora using all the curbs available to him and even some dirt for good measure to make sure that he uses all the racetrack possible to get as much lap time out of that comp kart machine to make amends for the opening couple of laps that has shuffled him back to 5th place there. He is the leader of a 5-kart train. It's Santora, Rylance, Bell, Callis, and Lewis. Then behind him, it's Frederic Lemieux there, a second back from Lewis. She entered this weekend 2nd in points, but after a rough Heat 1, a DNF in Heat 2, and sits 10th as it stands in Heat in this feature race. This will most likely end up being her drop race, her drop day. You're allotted 1 drop throughout the championship, and this will most likely be that. So that'll add some pressure to her day tomorrow to make amends for a rough Saturday here in Colorado, but let's see what she can do. There's still 10 laps to go, and all the scuffling going on in front of her. There's still a top 5 in the cards here, but how about it? The two teammates out front, Cooper Auclair, it was 5/10 when they crossed the line last time around. That is about a car length now. You can't put anything between them as it stands. Kakati versus Auclair. Lap 6 in the books. We're going to start lap 7 now of a 16-lap main event. 9 to go for Cooper Auclair to go and grab $2,000 from his teammate.
Yeah, 9 to go. Cooper Auclair just a couple of tenths off. Well, it was a couple of tenths, and now it's a rate of nothing here as we go down into the right-hander. Up the inside goes Cooper Auclair. Tries to make it stick, does make it stick there, and Kakati will now have to see back into second place. The teammate gets ahead. You got to mind the curbs. You can see that Kakati trying a slightly different line through the S's to make it stick, and now we run down the banana straight yet again. You see tucking there from Auclair. Auclair trying to just get distance away from Kakati. And again, with the wind picking up, it's going to be all important to be tucking, to be leaning, and doing everything you can to maximize your times. But now Cooper Auclair has found his way back up to the front of the field and will need to maintain it as we go. Tucks down the main straight again, and there it is, your change, and pulls out 3.5 tenths in a matter of just half a lap after that pass. And now we go through all the field, continuing to run, but this is going to be really where the question becomes. Auclair, Kakati, teammates here, but which one of them is going to come out ahead of the other? It's lap 8 of 16. Auclair's gotten the pass done, but I do think that Kakati is going to just have to settle in for a second. And the S's, I mean, man, they're rough through. Kakati has not seemed to keep all 4 wheels on the ground on that cart through the S's once. Now it's slipstream down the banana straight yet again, and as we run down the banana straight, we continue it through, and it is yet again just Kakati trying to stay in the mix with Auclair and stay close. They're going to come out of the final corner, and this is going to start lap 9. We've officially crossed the halfway point. And to tell you what, the battle for the lead is going to rage on for a while here in Senior Max. The wind is kicking, the drivers are battling, and this is some good racing all the way through.
This has been an incredible battle for the lead. Cooper Auclair had a major pace advantage over his teammate over the last couple of laps, but now that Auclair has gotten around Kakati, it seems as though the tide has shifted, and now Kakati has the advantage over Auclair. 7 laps to go for Theo to make a move on Cooper Auclair. Remember, Kakati does not have any say in this championship battle. He's not running for points. He's only running for trophies and money. He's obviously here to maybe help his teammates slightly, but he would obviously like to also walk away with $2,000. Cooper Auclair has extended his lead in the championship for today. You can see the flags flying in the background. The wind still rapidly increasing here in Grand Junction, Colorado. It's affected the handling slightly of the go-karts. It's also, if you look at the way the wind is blowing, it's created a tailwind down the front straightaway, which means that it's reduced the effect of the draft. As we see Kakati, wow, you don't see a pass there very often. He makes that move stick. He's ahead of his teammates. Theo Kakati back to the top spot. He was your pole sitter starting the feature race. He's back up to the point here. 10 laps complete. We're about to start lap 11 of 16. 5 laps to go for the 321 to see if he can claim $2,000 from his teammate Cooper Auclair, but he's not going to back down without trying. These two drivers have been the class of the field all day today, but especially in this main event. 3.4 seconds is their advantage over Griffin Dowler. And then how about for Micah Hendricks? Great run for him in 4th. Gio Santora, after a rough opening couple of laps, he sits 5th. And for Adam Rylance, for not being in a kart in quite some time, he's back up in the mix of things in 6th place. But it's all about these two drivers, Kakati versus Auclair, the two comp kart teammates. You don't want to have any contact, but you still want to race hard and aggressive. 5 to go here for Theo to fend off the points leader.
Yeah, you said it earlier, Alex, but this is just all about pride at this point for Theo Kakati. This is about just beat your teammate. You want the cash, you want the trophy. You could care less about the championship. You are down in 19th place coming into this race today in the championship. You don't have a lot that you're racing for championship-wise. You are truly just racing at this point to win. And sometimes that's all it takes. Sometimes that's that extra little bit of motivation. The pressure, the championship is off. You're going for the win, but there goes Cooper Auclair up the inside of his teammate. You see him look over the right shoulder, and he says, okay, I've got the place.
Whoa.
Thank you very much. And now for Kakati, a bump, a run side by side into the hairpin there, the left-hander down into the banana straight. And what a move. Kakati gets the run back, capitalizes from Auclair, and now they're bumper to bumper going down into the right-hander. I thought Auclair was going to make a move, but Auclair thinks better of it. These two are absolutely running. You would think it's the final lap the way they're racing, but we're just now crossing the line for lap 13 of 16, 4 to go as they cross the line. These two continue to battle. Some battles further back also continuing to develop, but really the lead separated by a 1/10 and a half at the line with 4 to go. This is huge. Senior Max really, really showing the gusto of these drivers, the pace, the skill, the thoughts. They are giving a battle worthy of watching here for these front two.
Kakati still leads over Cooper Auclair. Last time around, Kakati got around Auclair. I don't think he really meant to, but Auclair, we had a massive moment in the S's a lap ago, and it forced Kakati to get around his teammate. So now, if I'm Dowler, you're in the best seat in the house, or Auclair, sorry, but Auclair back up the inside and through on his teammate. I'm actually surprised that he went around so early. I guess he feels as though he has a little more pace on board that comp kart machine, but lap 13 in the books, 14 is getting started now. 3 laps to go here in Senior Max, and for Cooper Auclair, he needs to hold off his teammate for just 2.5 more laps. For Kakati, you're arguably in the best seat in the house now. You get to watch your teammate. You get to maybe conserve a little bit whatever's left in that go-kart because you can stay in tow. But through the first 4-5 corners of this lap, Auclair starting to pull away slightly from Theo Kakati, but a bit of a mistake there in the S's. Kakati back through on his teammates. He loves that move, and that was opportunistic if I've ever seen it. He gets back around his teammate Auclair around the outside, side by side, all the way to the dirt to make that move happen. Cooper Auclair, with 2.5 laps to go, is back up to the lead, and he gives his teammate a bit of a nudge there to extend his advantage. 2 laps to go for Cooper Auclair.
Yeah, Cooper Auclair going through, but again, he's got to keep it together in the S's. He's been passed onto the banana straight twice now in 15 laps. That is his weak point, and he needs to keep it together. The kart is just not giving the grip. He's not able to get the kart to stay under him and do what he needs it to do through that section of the track. We go through the right-hander. He's got a bit more of a gap than he's had coming into this section, and now there we go. You see he hits one curb, another, he bumps it a little bit, and Kakati is just very smooth through the S's, and now we head down the banana straight here, and this is going to be where I think if Kakati wants to get a run, it's going to have to be now. We're lap 15 of 16 here, and Kakati is back by a considerable margin as they come around the right-hander out of the banana straight. Now we come down on to the main straight here. White flag will be flying for Cooper Auclair, and this is going to be final lap. He's got to try to keep a gap. No mistakes. He cannot afford a single error here. But you see that Theo Kakati has pulled everything through that kart that he can. He's going to give every single inch of pace as we go through the left-hander. It's down the hill here. You can see the gap is there, but what can Cooper Auclair do to hold on to it? We go around. We're coming into the S's for the final time for these two. He's got to keep it together. A bit of a mistake, I think, going through a bit too much curb, but just far enough ahead that I don't think it's going to make a difference. He's going to tuck down the banana straight. He's going to hold on to it. This is your last opportunity for Kakati, but I don't think it matters. It is going to be Cooper Auclair who will come around the final couple of corners and should claim victory now.
Auclair rounds the final corner. He passed his teammate with 2 to go. He's going to be victorious. $2,000 richer. And he extends his points lead in the championship with 1 round to go in Senior Max. almost a perfect day for Cooper Auclair, but when it matters most, he gets around his teammates and he wins the race and the money. $2,000. Congratulations to Cooper Auclair there. Theo Kakati in second. Griffin Dowler rounds out your top three. Gio Santora, a great charge back through the field to almost claim a podium there. Finishes in fourth. Micah Hendricks in fifth. Adam Rylant sixth. Joel Lewis, Savannah Callis, Travis Varney, Frederick Lemieux. That is your top 10 in senior max.
Absolutely amazing run from Cooper Auclair. I mean, that's going to be one that we talk about for a while because that was amazing. Wow. I did not think he had that one, and then he pulled it through right at the end.
That was unbelievable from Cooper Auclair. He played that race incredibly smart. Theo Kakati thought he had it, but Auclair, with a strategic maneuver with 2 laps to go, moved his teammate just wide enough to, kind of halt the progress of his teammate, and Kakati couldn't find the ground to make up in the final 2 laps, and Cooper Auclair is victorious, extends his lead in the championship heading into tomorrow, where he has a chance to win a ticket to the grand finals. Unbelievable racing all day long. I mean, it doesn't get much better than this. The view is incredible. This racetrack has put on an absolute show for us. Grand Junction Motor Speedway has been awesome. This is the schedule for today and tomorrow. We have 9 a.m. warm-ups. That is Mountain Time. So it's going to be about 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. 10:10 for qualifying, 11 for the heats, 1 p.m. and then 2:15 p.m. Mountain Time for the feature races. That's about 4:15 Eastern Standard Time. You won't want to miss anything because if today's racing action is anything to go off of, we're in for a treat tomorrow. We're going to see 5 classes battle it out for the top spot in the championship. Thank you guys so much for watching. From myself, Alexander Searle, and Brad Dalton up in the booth. We'll see you guys tomorrow.